in some way or another. If it's not with family and with children and with siblings, then it's with co-workers and congregants and ministers and practitioners and politicians. We play this all out all over the place, all over each other. And that's the way it is. And I think that we have one of the greatest opportunities right here in this country that we call the United States. And it's not the only country. And yes, I want to say it's the greatest country, but I live here. And I've traveled to some others, and I find them very beautiful, and I find the people are just absolutely wonderful. And they're just like us. And we live on this planet together, going through an experience and an expression in a way of life. And we keep bumping into each other. And we keep wanting to make something better. We keep wanting to improve on something. We want to move to a greater experience. But we begin to believe that in order for that to happen, you all have to change. Because see, I've got the perfect world. You just haven't come around to my way of thinking yet. And as soon as I can get you here, then I'll be happy. And my life will be good. Because you'll all be in agreement with me. And then we'll be able to move in a direction that I want us to go. But if we're all thinking that, we're never going to come together. We're all going to find ourselves kind of spinning around, looking for that right direction. And in my belief, the truth is, whatever direction you move is the right direction. Wherever you are right here and right now is where you are meant to be. You have been the master of your destiny. You have been the captain of your direction. You have been the co-creator of your life. If there's something that's not working for you, then begin from within to find that place to change, to find that place to improve, to find that place to heal, to go into a space in which you connect with the mind, not the brain. And you'll know the difference because it's natural. It's very natural. Go back to when you were a child and you didn't have a whole lot of knowledge and you didn't have a whole lot of experience and you didn't have a whole lot of other stuff coming in. You knew what was true. Even in your fantasy, you knew what was true for you in that moment. You can bring that back into the forefront of who you are because it has never left you. It is the essence of who you are. It is that divine spirit. And one of the ways in which you can do that is that you can enter into this practice, enter into this idea that we call spiritual mind healing. A spiritual mind treatment. It's a method. It is an affirmative prayer. It is not a prayer that beseeches or begs or bargains in some way to get some good. It's a way by which we connect with the divine to be in that place of pure essence. And when you can find that within, when you can reconnect to that higher self that is you, then you can improve upon any condition. You can heal any sickness, any disease. You can manifest your greatest desires and the abundance and the prosperity that you want in your life. You can do this. You don't need a license to do this, but you must practice if you want to get the results and the outcome. You will never get to play in Carnegie Hall unless you practice, practice, practice. The same is true of life. You must practice. You must bring this into the art, the act, and the science. Spiritual mind healing is our nature, but it doesn't always come natural. The average person needs to practice the technique just like a musician needs to practice their skill. Every talent requires the individual to place some effort, some energy into developing their strengths and their talents. Rarely is one so gifted that writing a complex musical composition is done in their sleep. Nor does a brain surgeon just pick up a knife and start operating. Practice is the norm for the average person in every activity to become professional and expert in their craft. So let's take an opportunity to practice this idea of spiritual mind healing. So first of all, I want you to keep your eyes open during this one, because I want you to be mindful. I want you to be attentive. I want you to see if there's something else going on, because it's happening in your mind, not in the presentation of the show. So just begin to recognize that you're sitting in a chair, and this chair came out of an idea. Somebody's idea that said, wouldn't it be wonderful if these people had something comfortable by which they could sit? They could have their backs up straight. They could have their arms resting. They could have their feet flat on the floor. And they could feel supported. Don't we all want to feel supported? So here you are. You're being supported by this idea that is called a chair. And in that chair, God is. God is supporting you. God is embracing you. God is beating your heart and bringing your breath forth. So it's not some entity that is outside someplace, that you have to call forth, that you have to wake up, that you have to knock on the door, that you have to get through everybody else in order to get there. It's already here. It's already who you are. That's the first step of our 5 steps of treatment. You have to recognize that God, whatever you call it, that divine presence, that higher self, that infinite intelligence, that first cause, I call it God. It's already there. It is already who you are. And anything that you try to put a name onto it, you've entered into some judgment by saying that there's something other than that. There is nothing else but God. Everywhere, in everything, in all times, beyond our human comprehension. God is there. That's who you are. That's where we're going. That's what we're talking to. That's who's talking back to us. Listen deeply. Know that you are a part of this. If you were not a part of that which is God, which is everything, then you wouldn't be here. You're here because you are a part of that God. You are a part of that divine intelligence. That's cause for celebration. To wake up to the idea that within me is the divine presence already there. I have the power and the presence to manifest and demonstrate my greatest experience in life, and I'm responsible for it. I get to choose it. What would you like to choose? So here's an opportunity where you get to close your eyes. I want you to think of something that you would like to choose. Perhaps it's a physical healing. And let's not make a whole big list of this. Just pick one. Does your toe hurt? That's a good place to start. Are you feeling some emotional upset? That's another place you can begin.